this video, boys and ghouls, we're taking a look at 3 toy lines in my collection that I think embody Halloween perfectly. Stay tuned.
Everyone's a critic.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper today. Well, kiddies, I'm afraid our designer hanger offer has expired. Would somebody please get Mr. De La Renta out of here?
Here we are in the monster booth, and we are taking a look at our first little group I have lined up here. I have several to look at today, but I thought we'd start with something a little familiar. This is the 1993 Tales from the Crypt Keeper toy line. Tales from the Crypt Keeper was like an animated television show that was kind of more directed towards kids, based on the popularity of the Crypt Keeper and the Tales from the Crypt television show that was on HBO, based on the EC comic line. So at this time, the world was in pretty huge Crypt Keeper fever. There was all kinds of different collectibles and Budweiser promotionals, and Trendmasters had some Halloween props around this time that were really popular. I actually had a couple of those, but this toy line had come out a little bit after that, and the toy line overall is okay. They obviously didn't have the rights for these classic Universal monster types. They kind of had to go and do their own thing, which I kind of appreciate. I like when you take I like the kind of weird knockoff look to a classic monster, i.e. Mummy, Wolfman, things like that. So let's dig in right away. Let's see what we got here. First off, we'll start with the gargoyle, this little guy. Now, these were made by a company called Ace Novelty, and they hadn't done any action figure line or anything like that, and they haven't done any at all, really. So this was kind of like their one foray into their one excursion into making toys like this. So, but some of them are pretty charming. Like, I really like this gargoyle. I actually have this one displayed with my Masters of the Universe guys. Like Skeletor has got some gargoyle minion or something behind him. Then we got the zombie. The zombie glows in the dark, which is a fun little addition, and his limbs fall off, which is oddly grotesque for like a kid's cartoon line. But around this time, 80s, 90s, it wasn't really uncommon for toy lines, obviously, to have like a weird R-rated movie, or something like that. So the mummy's fun. I like his sculpt. His arms are pretty loose. His legs are pretty loose. These toys didn't age all that well, but he's got this lever on his back, and it raises up a little filter over his eyes there, so that he's got these dark eyes, and he's got this. That's pretty cool, actually. But the only thing is that you can't have him in the oh, there you go. Kind of difficult to get him into that classic mummy staggered staggering walk sort of look. We got Frankenstein that looks nothing like Frankenstein. He looks more like a zombie than he does. But the cool thing about this one is that you can actually pop him into pieces. So he does that with all of his limbs and stuff. A little bit boring of a sculpt. The most interesting is obvious part is the head there. He's got bandaged feet. Don't want him getting any blisters or corns or anything like that roaming around the countryside. Yeah, it's more like a ghoul or like a zombie than a Frankenstein, but he's got some stitches in there and some marks on there that telegraph that he's a Frankenstein type. We've got a Dracula here, and this one can't stand for shit, so he's on like permanent lean here, like he's about to throw. He's like keeled over, like he's too drunk and he's about to have a bit of a throw up moment there. But for this one, there's another lever on the back that drops his teeth down, so he goes from toothless grandpa to to Dracula real fast. Comes with a cloth cape, and it's attached here at the wrist via elastic band. This one's okay too. This is probably my least favorite one of the entire bunch, just because of the standing issue and he can't really move his arms up. He can't move his arms up and down here. He's just this, and then that's it. And that's all he does. Which, you know, when in the 90s they favored a lot of action features over, you know, like posability or look. You know, so this is kind of something typical you'd see back then. So then we've got the Wolfman, the werewolf. I like this one a lot. It's so crudely simple, but again, I kind of like this. Like, it kind of reminds me of the Sun Gold knockoff toy line. They would have like a bunch of different monsters and stuff. And it was kind of this like bootleg toy knockoff kind of more toy line and stuff. And I feel like he kind of fits more into that than he does into this toy line and stuff. Notoriously, the tail falls out all the time. This one I bought all these as a lot on eBay a long time ago, and to do something like this, to do a video, and I just never did until right now. And then his he's got this like action feature, if you want to call it that, even. Maybe it's a bite, maybe it's a head bob, I don't know, but I don't know. He's just so doofy. He's cute. I like it, and a whole lot of like werewolf toys from around this time. If they were to make one, they would kind of go more in the Wolfman route by having like a shorter little snoot. But this one has a longer snoot, so that's why I kind of like this guy. I kind of like how weird he is. Another one he's just kind of loose there, a little tough to get to pose and stand. But once you do, he's okay. And then we got these final two, the Crypt Keeper himself. We've got his formal wear. And this is his action feature. He's got such a concave face. But it's a meet and greet action pose. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? The sculpts on these are a little silly, you know, like they all, it has to house all the functionality inside there, so it's just this like broad, crazy large chest, and this one's the same way. And then he's got his little Crypt Keeper sandals on, and it's like the same thing, but it's just barely there, you know. It's almost like they were better off just making like a more solid figure. I had to start out a little on the easier side here so that we could ease into some other better kind of monstery Halloween themed toys here. So we took a look at these. Now let's take a look at the next batch of stuff I have lined up for us.
In your hands with Goosebumps Monster Head Maker. Create 4 hideous heads from the chilling tales of R.L. Stein, or eye-popping creations from your imagination that drip and drool.
I've got a runny nose.
Talk about gross. Crack open a dread head.
Monster blood.
Or try edible brain bites.
Look, Dad.
Handsome. Goosebumps brain bites you can eat. Monster Head Maker and Dread Heads you can't. Each sold separately.
For our next group, we have Goosebumps. Now, Goosebumps fever was very high in the 90s. R.L. Stein, he was smacking those puppies out one by one. He had the show, he had the books, he had tons of merchandise, obviously. But when I was younger, it was one of those things where it was so hard to find. I remember getting some monster blood and some stuff. Some of these pieces are actually from my childhood, and some of them I didn't know existed until way later. I remember going to the Scholastic Book Fair. That might sound completely like nonsense to some people, and other people it might have rung a little bell deep inside your brain of, oh yeah, I remember that. And it was like a little book fair at school, and I would buy Goosebumps. I remember getting Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I remember Goosebumps being a huge part of that, and it's a good part of around Halloween time too. You know, you pop in that old show where you can cracked open one of those old stinky books, those old stinky Goosebumps you have. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. I think we got these Toy Max head squirters. Unfortunate name there, but all the same, really cool sculpts actually. They got the little Goosebump symbol on the back there, which is fun. The one thing I would note about these is, and I'm not just a soy boy here, these will not squish. So maybe over time they just stiffened up really bad. These head squirters. Gonna stop saying that now. Then I have these really fun keychains, these like squishable keychains. Now this kind of style of keychain was very popular. Get your headphones on now, kids. Of course not. Oh yeah, there we go. Mummy's Real Juicy. So disgusting. But yeah, this kind of thing was pretty popular in the 90s. Like this toy inside of like a rubber capsule, and it was like squishable, and it had like monster ooze in it and stuff. This one's weird because the Mummy seems to, all the juice in it, it looks just like spit or saliva or something. It's disgusting. I really like the sculpt of this little guy. He's super cute. It's very in the vein of Mad Balls or something like that, you know. Cuddles. There, yeah, number 18 right on the back there. And then it's got the Mummy. Number 15, the Mummy.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus.
All right. And then I also have this haunted mask. Now, the cool thing about this haunted mask is that it's a little like putty container. So he came with some Play-Doh like material in there, and I think this was just like packaged by itself. Or I remember when I was younger getting like a huge pack of like, it was like a Goosebumps book and like a ruler and like some like other like school supply type stuff. And then I remember it came with like some slime. I don't know if this was like something like that or not, but yeah, this is just super cool. I love the sculpts and stuff. Another like Mad Balls-ish type thing. And yeah, it's just cool. I like when they kind of base it more off like the illustrations of the books and stuff rather than something that from like the show.
How you doing there? Hey, I love Monster Blood.
He's from Jersey, but yeah, I always tend to do that. I always tend to go New Jersey with it. I don't know why. That's gonna get cut. I'm not keeping that in. Let's do these puppets first. So we have Cuddles here. Completely adorable and disgusting at the same time. His paint is seen better days. At any time with this sort of rubber and stuff, with whether it's Boglins or like a Halloween decoration or something like that, it just tends to flake off. That's what it is. Disgusting features here and stuff. I don't know. It's cool. It was something to gross your sister out with, or gross your sibling out with. Chase them around the house, chase the cat around, chase the dog around with it. But yeah, they're just so much fun. And they're really fun display pieces too. If you can find something to kind of like kickstand them up. Because this one, whenever it sits, it kind of sits like that. And same thing with this one, it's the Mud Man. His paint is held up a little bit better, but not all that much better. The inside there, it's kind of fading away. But I like this one a lot. This one's out of the two that I have. And I know that there's the skeleton guy, they have him. I know that there's a couple other ones out there. But I like this one a lot. It reminds me a little bit of Street Trash. You know, if I could find like a toilet to put this guy on, that'd be great. I love the sculpt on this. I love like goopy stuff, you know, like Melting Man, the Incredible Melting Man, Street Trash, Body Melt, things like that.
Oh, why? Why did I eat that? Oh, God.
For our last bit here, we have these really fun action figures from the Goosebumps character line. The Scarecrow, we've got Slappy, we've got this Horrorland resident, and we've got the Good Doctor right here as well. Now all of these came inside this fun packaging, which I have right here. Here's the packaging right here. Pretty fun, quaint. A lot of that motif and coloring and fonts of the Goosebumps advertising from the 90s and stuff. We've got some of the others in the line here. Kind of an inventory, some glamour shots. And the instructions for what was kind of the gimmick. These were called the Monster Bag series. And it came in like a, kind of if you've had a trash bag bunch thing in the past, if you know what that is, kind of something similar. Kind of ahead of its time too when you think about it, because these all were modular. So they all came apart and they were all in pieces with all of their extra little accessories and stuff. And they came inside the little green bag, and then you'd soak it in water, and it had like gelatin in it and some green dye and stuff. And of course, I opened all these and did the bag stuff like way later. So they're all covered in this like green dye stuff. It's very strange. But I actually did a Instagram reel of me opening up some of these, so you should definitely check that out. Yeah, the figure sculpts are actually really fun. I actually really like how they came out. The Slappy's really fun. Although, why is he this tall compared to the others? It's a bit of a nitpick. Yeah, I actually like the sculpt. The head is creepy. Kind of like a deranged Pee Wee Herman almost.
I know you are, but what am I? 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 Infinity.
And yeah, all these come apart. Yeah, they're really fun. They remind me of socket poppers a little bit, with how they kind of come apart, and you could probably like switch some of the pieces around on them too if you wanted. Oh yeah, there you go. That's something, right? Give this dude fucking buff monster arms. There you go. So yeah, kind of like socket poppers, kind of like Glyos as well. And they all came with these really fun accessories. Tons and tons of them. And they're all like relevant to the story of which the ones each came with. And then the Scarecrow came with a piece of corn. He came with like a torch and some other stuff too. And then the last thing I wanted to show off was a Halloween prop. Another Horrorland guy, but this is kind of also kind of like a Boglin, especially in the arms. You can, it's like damn near the same thing even. But a lot of these there was this style of Halloween decoration a lot in the 90s too. You know, it made that classic noise, and the lights would flash in the eyes. The innards of this have seen better days, but I still hang this up. This is kind of like something that just chills kind of all year round in my living room too. So, but I don't know. I love this thing, and I have like a skull one, and there was like a Frankenstein one I think I had for a while, and a mummy one. Yeah, there's like a ton of these like vibrating noise, lights and flashing, you know, seizure-inducing toy decoration rather. But I thought it was so cool that like Goosebumps got in on it. You know, they got in on that thing. So it's cool to have like a little bit of every corner of Goosebumps when it came to like their marketing. And this is just one of the funnest ones they did.
After years of experiments, Andre Toulon has created puppets that want to play with you. Full Moon introduces the Puppet Master Action Figure Series. 8 dolls that come alive with movable parts and accessories.
You would see these figures all the time roaming the aisles of a Suncoast or a KB Toys or a Toys R Us or something like that. So these are very nostalgic. These had hit at the perfect time around when Full Moon started to go full production on all kinds of different straight-to-video type stuff. And, yeah, it was quite effective, you know, because you'd see articles and advertisements for this stuff in Fangoria magazine. You could probably order some of it out of the magazine, I remember. And yeah, I just remember seeing these and really loving them, and now it's awesome to have them. So let's go over some of these ones, shall we? First we got Pinhead, and the strong man of the group. And his articulation kind of is very limited. He's just got and that's kind of the overall thing with all of these, is don't expect too much. It's really the sculpts that are charming to me. They're kind of that 90s crudeness that I don't know, a lot of the toys from the 90s, and maybe it's just nostalgia goggles, but there's like this quirky charm to a lot of the horror stuff from the 90s, you know? There's like weird Bendham figures, and McFarlane did a bunch of kind of crude looking stuff and all kinds of different things like that, because horror was kind of at this weird time, you know, and so there's a lot of merchandise for that. So this kind of falls into that whole thing. So very limited articulation. He did have the cloth sweater, which is nice. All these guys had like a soft goods element to it for the most part. Some didn't, like Tunneler here, but yeah, so Pinhead, and his action feature is this. You might have blinked and missed it. Here we go. Wow. And one more time. It's completely pointless. I don't know. They wanted to do something. I'm glad it wasn't something that was like maybe like a spring-loaded arm thing or something, like, I don't know. And he came with some weights and some stuff like that to have him hold and stuff. But honestly, just this by itself is perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right. Then let's look at Tunneler here. One of the few that doesn't come with a soft goods. He came with a pickaxe and a German machine gun as well. And then his action feature is, wow, you guessed it, guys, tunneling action, spinny action. Kind of wish it was more satisfying. Like, I wish there was like a button to like rev it up and really get it going, you know. But you know, as a kid, when you're playing with this, it doesn't matter. I don't even have to do that. It's just, you know, right into the victim. But I wanted to get all of the ones that had the closest look to the movies, but they made a ton of variants, and they definitely milked the materials and the sculpts on these a lot. They changed the colors around, did glow in the dark, all kinds of stuff. They wanted to make the money off of those molds that they had done, and so they really did do that. Next we got Blade. You know, these four were like some of my favorites when I was younger, and I have some of the other ones of this whole toy line, but I wanted to just put it down a little bit. I didn't want to cover all these and talk about these the whole time, but I could do that. But should I? I don't know. Blade is really cool. He had like a flocked hat. Now, a lot of times the hat would get warped as hell, and there's just kind of not a whole lot you can do because flocking is so fragile, so you can't really like heat it up. You know, you might damage the flocking on there. So it's one of those things I've just let go. He's got the hair on there, and he's got his little like fabric jacket, which is great. You know, this was like a very awesome representation of the character of Blade, and for all of them for that matter. But yeah, he's got his classic hook and his knife, and you can actually like take these out and replace them with different attachments that he had. He had like axe ones and stuff, so a little bit of variety, which was nice, and very simple articulation on these again too. Kind of borderline like Ninja Turtles-esque, you know. It seems to me like they had made the toy designs, and then they were asked to maybe make more articulation after the fact, because like where the cuts are and stuff, it's very strange. Then we got my favorite, Torch. Torch has always been my guy, and the light actually still works on him. There's a light for Blade, and that one doesn't work, but this one does, which is sick. I mean, one of the coolest parts of Torch was his eyes. After Torch, we're going to take a look at Jester here. Now, Jester, you know, I just have him because I'm a little bit of a completionist. It's nice to have the entire team, but Jester, never really my favorite. If Jester was your favorite, then that's awesome. He's got a nice fancy outfit here. They did a good job with his little jester outfit. Not real bells, but you know, that would be super annoying and hard to do on that scale. But Jester's little action feature here is facial expression change, just like the film. Watch him be creepy, smiley, or desperately sad. He had a little stick with a little blade on it. And we're gonna move on. Easily one of the most unsettling of all the Puppet Master characters, Leech Woman. Now, Leech Woman, she came with her dress here, which is a little ripped. It won't stay in place. It's kind of unfortunate. But she's got the fabric hair, and she's got this little lever on her back, so they can control this disgusting leech action. So it looks like what she does in the movie. Make awkward groaning noises and slowly puke a leech off onto her victim. And, you know, surprise, surprise, she comes with leeches. So, wow, there's that. And of course we got Six Shooter, because he's one of the coolest too. He's got his little bandana and hides his little devious smile there. And then all of his chromed out guns, which is pretty sweet. And then I just enjoy that this one is just a figure. I think they were getting at this point, they're like, maybe they just want like an action figure. And yeah, it looks great. Really cool. And removable hat, which is nice. So there you have it, y'all. 3 different spooky toy lines for this season. I wanted to do something a little bit different this time around. I wanted to do more of a showcasing of specific parts of my collection rather than just like, look at all this stuff or an unboxing type of thing. I want to kind of be more thoughtful with the kind of videos I want to do. I'm not really sure what direction I want to go in as far as like the formatting and the ideas and stuff, but I thought this was a good place to start rather than just another showcasing of a collection or like a wall or something like that. Don't get me wrong, I like doing stuff like that, but I also want to do stuff that's a little bit challenging. I want to do more editing and things like that, trying to do a little bit better with how that goes. A lot of the old videos were just straight out, just like a flat recording and with some editing sprinkled in here and there, but I want to get better at that stuff. I want to make more quality content for y'all. And if, you know, it takes me a while to think of an idea and get my shit together to do it, that's what it's got to be. So I appreciate everyone's patience with those sorts of things. So, but I have a lot of different videos on this channel that go over all kinds of different toys, all kinds of different toy lines, and all kinds of varying in quality too. So be sure to enjoy that. I want to thank y'all for watching. Be sure to leave a like and all that kind of shit. So I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all. Until next time, until next idea. Stay spooky.
We come now to one of my favorite items, the amazing Crypt Keeper Slash-O-Matic. It's more than just a knife. It peels, it cuts, makes fabulous French fries. It slices, it dices, it... Ooh.